What's up, everybody? As you all know, Donald Trump just got discharged from the hospital after being diagnosed with COVID. He went through a really rough stint, and then, of course, he said he got better. Supposedly, his doctor said they got better. And then, of course, he gave a speech right after telling people not to let COVID dominate their lives. Now, the reason I decided to cover this, because I originally actually wasn't going to cover it, but I felt like people probably want like an objective analysis of this because I've been looking everywhere for one, and everybody's like kind of stuck in between Trump's invincible, COVID doesn't exist, and they want Trump to die. It's actually it's kind of scary to see where people are at on this, and so I figure like whatever, I'll just go ahead and give an objective analysis. For those of you who are curious, by the way, I'm in DC right now. I'm out here for to film a documentary, but I just had to talk about this because it was like, bro, like the coverage of this has been crazy. So I do want to be clear about something. Trump was having breathing problems. This is something that has been associated with people who have gotten COVID, along with having comorbidities in the past. It's common for people with comorbidities to generally have breathing problems for a few weeks after they fully recover. And as course as we all should probably know by now, Trump has not at all fully recovered. There's no way in hell. He just got diagnosed with it. And it's supposed to be a 14-day incubation period, and then about 14 days where it's at its height, and then it takes a little bit longer after that for it to subside completely. So obviously he still has it. Now, what's scary about this is that I was reading about what happened with Herman Cain before he passed. Similar build to Donald Trump. Also had comorbidities, wasn't in the best of shape. And the timeline looked very, very similar. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I know that don't get it twisted, right? Like, I don't really feel bad about Trump per se. I don't wish death on anybody. That's up to the universe to decide. And I'll let the universe take it from there. But on the other side of that fence, I do recognize the real life consequences to Trump passing away. I don't know what y'all may or may not know about martyrdom, but I don't want Trump to be a martyr. It would not be good for the left. It wouldn't be good for any of the leftist movements. Because if Trump passes away, I know a lot of his supporters have said that COVID is just a farce in its totality, which is not true. It is real. But they will go from, oh, let's acknowledge the reality of COVID to let's just burn everything down, right? Whoever Trump talks about, selects, endorses, whatever, like if he was to pass away, whoever comes next on the Trump train, they're going to be worse than Trump, right? Like, that's a fact. Now, on the other side of that fence, with these liberals pretending as if they love Trump all of a sudden, oh, God bless the president, God bless America. We need, that civility shit would have been cool, like if y'all didn't try to commit a coup, like the moment the man got elected, and then blamed him for literally everything, to the point where now he is popular, people. Like, he's popular because y'all kept lying and getting caught. Y'all wouldn't tell the truth about the bad stuff he was doing, but then y'all kept lying about him, then getting caught, and now his approval rating amongst the people that he needs to win, if you catch my drift, is through the roof. And now everybody wants to talk about civility. They want to pray that he survives. I do think, to a certain degree, there are a sect of liberals that generally understand that if Trump passes away, it's not going to get good for us on the left. It's not going to be good for Democrats or actual leftists if Trump passes away. Now, I know that there are some people who have once again been wishing bad things on the man. Like I said, that's not my department. I don't really engage in that type of discussion for the simple fact that, like I said, the universe will do what the universe deems necessary. And I don't like playing God when it comes to stuff like that, because I do believe in bad karma. And I got a family myself, and I'm sure some of them are not as nice, but that doesn't mean I want them gone. And I don't believe, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't wish that kind of hurt and pain on anybody, which is why I fight so hard for the causes that I fight for, domestic and foreign. But with that being said, I do believe that there should not necessarily be as much unique sympathy for Trump or any congressman or politician or elite that gets COVID. And the reason I say that is because, well, I could, but the average person like yourself can't just get diagnosed and check in the Walter Reed Hospital, check out, and have all their bills paid. You get what I'm saying? Like, the average person, when they go into the hospital, they're not going to continue to collect the massive paycheck the entire time that they are there. The average person right now, if they get COVID and they're put out of commission, they have zero idea where their next paycheck is coming from, where their food is coming from, how they're going to feed their family. And I feel like the idolization of the office of the President of the United States that we have seen recently is insulting to the millions of Americans who have been affected by COVID, not necessarily because they caught the disease, but because they lived in a country where both Republicans and Democrats handled COVID like trash. They treated us like we were peasants in a kingdom where the only people that should be guaranteed any type of healthcare security are the people who live at the top of the hill inside the walls of the castle. That's what we've been treated like. And although I don't wish anything uniquely bad on Donald Trump. That's just, once again, not the type of person I am. But I am not going, somebody asked me on the radio in jest, oh, I haven't seen a tweet from you wishing Donald Trump well. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I wish him well like I wish everybody who had COVID well. I wish everybody who is suffering from the circumstances brought about by the pandemic well. But I'm not going to uniquely wish Trump well when I know that Trump is in a position where he uniquely benefits from a system that's left thousands of people to be once again, when I say, I know that there's that number that's being thrown around, 200,000 deaths. I'm not a fan of that number because I know just here in Florida, we've got caught inflating numbers. We have. Once again, COVID is real, but people can inflate numbers, right? We know how the game goes. When it comes to anything that could lead to a profit by the establishment players, for example, the pharmaceutical industry in this particular case, they will inflate numbers, just like they try to lie. For random example, I don't know if you've ever heard of Kratom. Kratom is like Adderall, but the natural version of Adderall. It's a plant. I think it originates in Southeast Asia. They usually put it in tea. You can take it in pills now. They tried to Schedule 1 this drug, or this plant, I should say. And what they were doing was pretending as if people had died from it. But nobody had actually died from it. They were like, oh man, somebody took Kratom and it died in a car accident and they had Kratom in their system and therefore it counts as a death, right? That stuff happens. However, there have been tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who have died or are on the verge of dying because COVID, our unpreparedness, the country's unpreparedness to handle the pandemic put everyone else in a bad situation, right? So cancer patients weren't able to get the treatment that they would normally be able to get if the hospitals weren't directing all of their efforts towards COVID because they were being incentivized to do that to cover down for the fact that they've gone into an immense amount of debt because of what the ACA has done. Get what I'm saying? And you get that really all over the board. So people are dying and they don't even have to be diagnosed with COVID to feel the ramifications. The ramifications of what COVID has brought about. So I don't like this unique take or this unique nature that people are treating Trump with on either side of the fence. Because at the end of the day, Trump is a problem. Trump didn't handle this well, but last time I checked, the Republicans were also trying to go on vacation. Republicans and Democrats, my apologies, were trying to take a vacation. Nancy Pelosi made it very clear. They're going to take a vacation, whereas Trump actually made sure before he ended up on that hospital bed that we had money in our pockets, at least people who could qualify for unemployment. So that's something good that he has done that Nancy Pelosi has never tried to do, right? That, I mean, a lot of Democrats never really tried to do. So that's a good thing. What happens if you remove Trump out of that, if he passes away and you take Trump out of that power, that power vacuum is going to be created, and it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem like we haven't really experienced before. And I I just don't think that the country is ready for that. It might be the jolt we need. Who knows? And it could get ugly. But we really cannot afford for Trump to die before November. We can't do it. I mean, to be like, I don't know how, like, yeah, he's a problem, but because of Trump, like, now people are actually acknowledging police brutality. People are actually acknowledging systemic racism because he's so bad at hiding the fact that systemic racism exists, right? Like, because of Trump, we may not have to deal with the 94 crime bill creator and author, Joe Biden, the Patriot Act author, Joe Biden, the literal segregationist Joe Biden. And we also know that Trump will be out in 4 years if Trump wins again. And that whole 4 years, he'll keep talking loud and we'll still have people ready to organize and challenge him. Whereas under Biden, we know he'll be out in 4 years, but he'll be able to basically do whatever the hell he wants to, completely and totally under the radar. So effectively what you'll see if Donald Trump passes away is just everything thrown out of its natural balance as far as power is concerned. And we actually end up taking a step back, right? So to summarize, no, Trump should not be getting any unique treatment. Like, I'm not going to wish him well just because he's the president when I see hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, being negatively affected by a pandemic that our country, the people that we put in power, well, no, I'm not even going to go on that limb because I already know how election integrity works. But at least the people that are collecting a paycheck from our money, let's just put it like that, they've left us hanging, right? Everybody, for the most part, has left us hanging. Everybody, for the most part, has left this country ill-prepared to deal with this pandemic. And because of that, I'm not going to pretend like the president's situation is unique whenever the president has all the resources available to fight this pandemic, whereas people like you and me do not. Two, do not make a martyr out of Trump. Don't wish him to be a martyr because this country could not handle it. The country could not handle Trump the martyr. Y'all need to understand that. I'm just being realistic here. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get why the disdain for Trump that some people have, although some of it's like, once again, just derangement. But the reality is, bruh, the country's just not ready for that. I'm telling you, don't find out the hard way. You do not want to find out the hard way. But also, three, to be clear, this pandemic, where there have been a couple of progressives like Tulsi and Rashida Tlaib who have tried to do something, but the Republicans and the Democrats were about to leave, right? They were just going to go on vacation. Trump was the one who put the moratorium on the evictions. We all know how Biden loves the banks. Not that Trump doesn't, but I'm just speaking about in the context of COVID. But so we don't know if Biden would overturn those moratoriums, right? On mortgages as well. I can say with almost 100% certainty in this particular situation, Biden wouldn't have extended and increased unemployment because we were literally in a depression, and Biden and Obama didn't do that. They bailed out the big banks and the corporations instead. They didn't bail us out. So, like, yeah, of course, Trump did it for his base. Like, he wants to win. Like, that's not really. But Biden has shown, I will do the opposite. He will do the opposite of what you ask him to do and still expect you to vote for him, right? And so we just have to be cognizant of all of the peripheral consequences of what it could possibly mean if Trump dies. It doesn't necessarily mean our country goes back to normal. In fact, it could end up leading to something far, far worse. So I'd like to know what your thoughts are about this. Like this video, share this video, leave a comment below, but always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.